Why in the world would someone pay over $100,000 out of their pocket as a down payment for this home? On top of that, pay $4,000 a month in mortgage payment to own this property when they can just rent it for less than $3,000 a month. It's inevitable that renting these days is just much cheaper. The numbers are so obvious, but is it really in the long term? And that is the question I am trying to answer for myself and you in this video. So stick around, we're going to dive deep into some numbers. Hello everyone, thank you very much for tuning into the Austin City Properties Real Estate channel. Here we drop weekly videos to show you the best of Austin and Austin brand new communities. If we haven't met yet, my name is Mehrshad and my number one goal is to help you make the most educated decision about your next move. So if you're thinking about relocating within our fabulous city, this is the number one channel you need to be following to stay ahead of the curve and get updated videos and information about Austin real estate market. In this video, we are going to compare 3 different scenarios of homeownership versus renting. First one, what if you just rented and you stayed a renter for the next 10 or 15 years? What if you bought this home and then after 5 years you decided, you know what, this is not something for me, I don't want to be a homeowner, or whatever that could be the case. You found a lover and you want to move to Greece, right? Like whatever it is. Or the next one, what if you bought this home and you stayed there for the next 15 years and after that you decide to move, whether sell it or buy another one. We're going to put these 3 different scenarios right next to each other and see what could be your situation potentially in the next 15 years. So if you are someone who has some money saved up for a down payment, you are interested in buying a home, or maybe you're debating, but you're kind of on the fence. You know, you're like, do I buy right now? What's going to happen to the economy, the tariffs, the interest rates are high, the prices are high, whatever the case might be. We're gonna dive deep into the numbers and see whether it is a good decision to own a home or not. And by no means I am trying to persuade you to buy a house, but rather paint a picture of what it could potentially look like in the next 15 years, studying the past 15 years of real estate market. All right, if you are curious, just like me, stick around because we're going to my office and dive deep into these numbers. All right, guys, welcome to my office. This is where I put all these videos together for you. This is where I come up with all these ideas, and this is where the magic happens. Before we dive into this video, I just want to ask you for a quick favor. If you do find this video helpful, if you don't mind sharing it with a friend or a family member that is probably in the same situation as you are, and you guys are having this same conversation over a dinner table. You know, I put a lot of efforts behind these videos and I just need to get it in front of more people that need this information. So if you can do me that quick favor, it will be a huge favor to them because they might find it helpful and useful and put it into work and practice for themselves and their future. Also, if you are thinking about buying a new construction home, make sure to check out the link in the bottom of this video. That's where we have all of our resources and information for you. We have a Facebook group where we share a lot of great deals and opportunities, as well as a link to schedule a 30-minute consultation with me personally to go over your situation and determine what is the best next step for you and your family. Now, let's dive deep into these numbers, starting with the rent scenario. Let's start with renting, right? So we have this house that is worth about $500K. And in Austin, if you wanted to rent such a home, you will be probably paying somewhere between $2,500 to $3,000 a month, depending on the amenities and how clean and how much updates it has. So I'm gonna use an average number of $2,750 for the sake of this calculation. And if you pay that for a full year, in 1 year, you will be paying close to $33,000 for that year. Okay, average, right? Now, what if you kept paying that for the next 5 years with a minimal $50 rent increase year over year? Because rents do go up, right? So after 5 years, you will be looking at $170,000 that you have paid out of your pocket. Okay, keep that number. We're gonna use it later on. Now, what if you paid that rent with that $50 increase for 15 years? Now we're looking at a number closer to $550,000. Okay, so we have 33 in 1 year, 170 in 5 years, and 550 in 15 years. Now, let's compare it to a short-term ownership of 5 years. So 5 years of ownership. By the way, this scenario does require you to have a down payment. Okay, so let me explain these loans that we're gonna use for this example. So you're gonna have a down payment of 20%, which is $100K. And please get this right. People say, oh, I have to pay $100,000. You don't necessarily pay, you just essentially moving it from one account, let's say it's sitting in your savings account in your portfolio, you're just moving it into a different asset. Yes, no one likes to pay $100,000, but moving it from one place to another place is actually the truth and the more realistic way to think about it, and it makes it a lot easier to make that leap. All right, so we have a 20% down payment and an average interest rate of 6.5%, which is about average about the when I'm filming this video, which is 2025, summer of 2025. And we're gonna use those two and get our monthly payments based out of that. If you pay that 20% with a 6.5% interest rate, your PITI, which is principal, interest, and taxes and insurance. Again, your taxes and insurance will vary, but I used an average number. So you will be looking at monthly payment of $3,500. Okay, so about $750 more compared to renting, which after paying that for a full year, that number annualized is $42,000. If we multiply that by 5 years, you are paying $220,000 after 5 years. And if we compare that by the renting scenario, which was $170,000, you had paid out of your pocket an extra $50,000. Now, who likes to pay an extra $50K? I know I don't. So let's paint a more realistic picture. Properties do appreciate an average of 4 to 6% in the US. Each market is different. We're gonna use the more conservative version, 4% for this calculation. So 4% year over year, your property value after 5 years will be closer to $608,000. So now you have gained $108,000, but you did pay about $50,000 more out of your pocket. All right. So now you are at a net gain value of $68,000. And on top of that, all these months that you were paying your mortgage payment, you were chipping down on that principal payment as well, which in 5 years, you will be probably looking at somewhere in the area of $22,000 to $25,000, which if we round that up with the 68, you are looking at $80K that you have gained or have something to show for after 5 years. Now, check this. If you were in the renting scenario, you were, paying that every month out of the window. But now in this scenario, you had 100K down, right? Your property appreciated 108K. And then also you chipped away about $22,000 from that interest. So now we are talking 100 and 100 is 200, and then that 230,000 in equity sitting in that house. Yes, you did pay an extra $50,000 in interest, but look at this number right here. Now, how about we put this practice into 15 years and see what happens? And then I'm going to do something more dramatic with that version. Thinking about buying a brand new home in the Austin and the suburbs? Well, consider joining our Facebook group community where we share all the exclusive deals and best offers by different home builders. Buying a brand new home can be quite overwhelming. You're gonna have to drive to different communities, talk to numerous sales agents to find out what kind of deals and offers they have. Well, lucky for you, we've done the legwork. All you have to do is join our Facebook group and gain access to these deals on a daily basis. Simply look for the link tree on the bottom of this video or in the description of our bio. Click on joining the Facebook group, fill out a quick questionnaire, and you get access to these deals on a daily basis. See you there. Think about it like this. There are a lot of fears and talks about a recession, a fall of a market. That talk is always there. There has not been a single year that I've been in real estate and people have not talked about a crash. Even when we were at COVID, things were going up. People were, oh, it's going to crash. Oh, next year is going to crash. They always talk about that. Even though some of those concerns are valid, but we can never predict it. But how about we put it into our calculation to just test and see what's really going to happen if that was going to happen. So in the next scenario, we're going to do 15 years. I'm going to open up a new page for that. And 5 of those 15 years, I want to dedicate it to a down cycle. Okay. So in this down cycle where you bought your property, we're going to go down and then we're going to come back and be flat. Like let's say if we bought it at 500,000 in the next 2 years, now we're looking at 450,000, and then things turn around and after 5 years we're in the same square that we started. So we're at $500,000 after 5 years in property value. Okay, 3,500 a month in 15 years, that's 180 months, which means you have paid close to $630K after those many payments. Now, insurance and taxes do fluctuate, so I'm gonna give an extra $20,000 to this to paint a more realistic picture. So let's call it $650,000 in payments, cash out of your pocket, versus the first scenario, which was renting 550, it's a difference of $100,000. Okay, so you've paid in payment $100,000 more out of your pocket in this scenario. Now, since we are going to use appreciation for only 10 years, and I'm also going to use a more conservative number on this one. So 500,000, right, times 3% year over year, it will give me a net value of $670,000, meaning my property will be worth $670,000. And in these 15 years, I have paid down my principal month after month. So that is $96,000, which I calculated these before I record this video, thanks to ChatGPT. So, and plus a gain of $170,000. On the other end, you had that other 100K that you invested up front. Now, in your piggy bank, after those 15 years, we have $370,000 in equity sitting. Yes, you did pay $100,000 more in payments out of your pocket, but look at this equity built up, $370,000. You are ahead in approximately $270,000 versus renting. Now, some people might say, well, what about my closing costs? What about my maintenance cost? All right, we'll have an answer for that as well. An average renter moves every 2 to 3 years, and each move costs them about $2,000 to $2,500. So if you're moving every 3 years, in 15 years, that's 5 moves. That multiply that by 2,000. Again, I am using really conservative numbers over here. We're looking at $10,000 in moving costs alone. There goes your closing costs. You know, you're gonna have to pay regardless of whether you rent or buy, but how about, you know, putting it somewhere like a piggy bank that could actually serve you down the line. Now, one other thing that I do want to mention about this type of market that we are in right now, despite all these little details that we spoke, is the fact that if you are a home buyer, you have a lot of leverage over the sellers because there's too many houses available out there and they need to compete for your business. So there are 9 out of every 10 seller is going to negotiate and budge on the price and the terms, which is something that it is under your control and you can put it into prediction before you sign that contract with them. So I'm going to use a very, very simple and realistic scenario on this one to even paint a better picture about this $500,000 home. So let's say there are too many of these $500,000 homes in that neighborhood that you are looking to buy, and the seller is willing to negotiate. Okay, so let's say you turn around and you offer them $450,000 and they are really desperate. They need to move out of here and just go where their grandkids are or go wherever the new job is located at, and they're willing to sell for whatever cost it takes. So let's say if you offer them $450, they don't like it, they come back and say, you know what, well, we'll sell it to you $475. So now you have a purchase price of $475K. I'm going to use K for the sake of the space over here. And then you also ask them to contribute to your closing cost so you can buy down your rate from 6.5% down to 5.9%. Okay, now your PITI, your monthly payment for this situation will be closer to $3,150 a month. Okay, so we went from $3,500 to $3,150, so that's a savings of $350 each month. Now, in 15 years, okay, if you continue to pay this in 15 years, your total payments is going to be closer to $570K. Okay, now compare that to $550 in the renting scenario. You have only paid $20,000 more in these 15 years compared to renting. That's about like over $1,000 a year. But wait, you've already bought the property for $25,000 cheaper, a $25,000 equity that you're gonna have in your house. So minus that 20 that you paid extra in payments, now you're actually made an extra 5K by just buying that house. And that goes your realtor tip right there. So, with that being said, I understand like upfront, it seems like a hefty investment. Yes, you need to have, in this scenario, you need to have that $100,000. You need to be able to identify which location you want to be and find the right property to get yourself in this situation. But is it really better than renting? Now, that's a question I need you to answer. And if your situation is not quite similar to this, maybe you're a first-time home buyer, you have a smaller budget, or your budget is bigger, whatever your situation might be, and you want to understand your numbers deeper, feel free to shoot me an email or schedule that 30-minute consultation that we have on the bottom of this video. I'll be happy to go over it with you and answer any other type of questions you might have about the buying process and home ownership. Thank you very much for watching this portion of the video. Now, I want to take you guys back to the house where we came from and show you that home. And if you have any questions about that one, you can also reach me from this phone number or wherever you see. My number is everywhere. I am a reachable guy. No matter where you look, you can find me and just give me a call. Alrighty, thank you very much. Let's go see the home. Are you serious about buying a brand new construction home in the Austin, Texas area? Then consider downloading our 7 steps on how to buy a brand new construction home. Inside, I share 6 years of experience working with various different builders. You'll learn how the process works from start to finish. You learn how to choose the right builder that matches your needs, and then also what key questions to ask to put yourself in a strong negotiation position with these builders. Don't go in unprepared. Trust me, download this guide and you'll thank yourself later. Located in the community of Los Indios in North Austin. If you are familiar with Hunter's Chase and Raton Creek, it's the adjacent neighborhood. They are considered the neighborhoods right next to the brand new Apple campus in Palmer Lane. This home is just over 2,400 square feet, was built in 1984, and has 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, and is listed by Epic Realty in this area. All right, so as we enter, to the right, we have a secondary living room, which connects to that area, which is an office right now. To the left, we have the stairs that takes you to all the bedrooms. We have a half bath right here, a closet space right here, and then this hallway takes us to the main living room. Got a little informal dining, the main living room, family room, and then the kitchen right here. As you can see, it is so 80s and pretty cool. If you're someone that's looking for a house with a bit of character, then resale in this part of town is definitely a good option. And one thing that I can reassure you is that you will not get these mature trees and laid back backyard in most of the brand new homes. Not all of them lack it, but most of them kind of, just don't preserve the land like I think they should. So that's the great thing about these homes now. You get a little bit of an older home, older layout, but it has more character in my opinion, and it feels more like home. So go back inside. We had a fireplace right there. That's where it takes you to the garage and the laundry room. So 80s, right? All right. Then I'm gonna take you guys from this side to this our office. That it could be also a dining room as well. It's connected right to the kitchen. Let's look at this room from this angle. And then from there, we can go up the stairs. Immediately to the left is where we have the master bedroom with a recently renovated bathroom. Nice and modern. Does have a stand-up shower as well. That's it for the master. We have the shared bathroom right here with a tub, and then one of the secondary bedrooms. And then the last one, which has this nice built-in right here. Alright folks, that wraps it up for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got a lot of value out of it. I know it was a lot of numbers at some point to digest, but that is just the reality and the hypotheticals that we have to just run when you are making a big decision and purchase in your life. Now, I do understand that, you might not be in that exact position right now to buy. You might have not had a chance to save up that much. Whatever it is, your case might be, and you have questions when it comes to real estate, feel free to reach out to us. Here's my number. My team and I, we have a goal of helping you make the most educated decision about your next move, whatever it is, whether it's renting, buying a first home, upsizing or downsizing. We'd like to be your go-to source that treats you with honesty and integrity throughout the way from start to finish. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And again, my name is Mehrshad Afshar with 5 Realty. See you in the next video.